Episode 112 this week, The Samaritan Snare. This one was not good. Not good. They had a couple of good ideas, and then they ran out of how to flesh those ideas out, and it just kept dropping farther and farther off of a cliff. But basically, the Enterprise is somewhere to look at a pulsar, but Wesley Crusher has to go to a starbase on a shuttlecraft to take a test to see if he can stay on board the Enterprise rather than just having the test on the Enterprise, so he doesn't actually have to go anywhere and take a shuttle by himself to and from a starbase. No one thought of that, I guess. But then Dr. Pulaski tells Picard he has to have a replacement part in his artificial heart. She wants to do the procedure while they're watching the pulsar. Picard gets upset because he wants to see the pulsar. So Pulaski says, well, you can go to the starbase with Crusher and get it done there if you don't want me to do it here. He agrees to that very, very begrudgingly, goes to the bridge, gets all mysterious and on edge with Riker, telling him he's going with Crusher and Riker will have the command while they study the pulsar. Then Picard and Crusher get on the shuttlecraft. They head to the starbase, which is 6 hours away, in a shuttlecraft. The Enterprise could have rushed them over at warp speed and been back to look at the pulsar within minutes. No one thought of that. But as soon as Picard and Crusher set sail, the Enterprise gets a distress call from a mysterious ship. So they go to find this ship. They get there, and this new species we've never seen called the Packleds are saying their ship is broken. They can't make it go, and they look for things to make them go, and they're really vague and use one sentence answers. And Riker's like, these guys are kind of slow. I'll just send over my chief engineer to fix their ship and then send them on their way, because I don't like being away from the captain very long, even though they would have been away from the captain regardless, because he was going away from the Enterprise. Well, they send Geordi LaForge over there. He's over there a while, and Counselor Troy comes flying onto the bridge saying, what did you do? You sent our chief engineer over there, and they have ulterior motives. So Riker contacts LaForge. LaForge's like, no, I'm fine. These guys are no threat to anybody. They're pretty simple. Riker's like, oh, okay, I thought so. And then when LaForge fixes everything, the Packled said, well, we want to keep you here. You can help us find things to make us go. And LaForge's like, no, that's okay. And then they shoot Geordi LaForge with the phaser and they take him hostage. Raise the shields. They've got stolen parts from all kinds of species, including the Klingons and the Romulans. Riker's completely for words. Worf just stands there like, I told you so. I wanted to shoot him out of the sky to start. You never let me do that. So they come up with the ruse where LaForge pretends to be helping the Packleds, but he's actually helping the Enterprise get the shields lowered so they can beam him off that ship. The Packleds were for words. They were like, wow, they're really smart over there. And while all this is going on, Picard and Crusher are going in the shuttle to the starbase. They're making small talk. Picard's offering sandwiches to Crusher. Crusher's like, yeah, you hate kids. Hate them with the passion. You hate kids. And Picard's like, that's not true. And Crusher's like, everybody knows. They get to the starbase, and Crusher walks Picard into the starbase, and he's like, yeah, Pulaski told me to make sure he got into the building. Crusher shouldn't have known any of that, because Pulaski said she'd keep everything quiet as to why Picard was going there. She shouldn't have had to instruct him to take him into the medical bay of this starbase. But Picard undergoes the procedure with these starbase medical personnel. They're repairing the heart. All of a sudden he starts flatlining. They don't know what's up. So they call the Enterprise. They say, we need you. So as soon as they wrap up with the Packleds, they take off to the Starbase, Pulaski has to finish the surgery. Picard wakes up and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I saved your life." And Picard's for words because he didn't want Pulaski to have done the surgery for some strange reason. He'd rather people he'd never met perform it, and that didn't go so well. But now he thinks Pulaski's going to blab all over the ship that he had a heart that was faulty, even though by the time the next generation happened, the technology was probably massively advanced and it was a routine procedure. But that's pretty much the episode. Some interesting notes in this one. It was the first time we see the Packlids. They didn't come back again until Lower Decks, the newer animated series. That's when they returned to the series. We also found out Captain Picard had that faulty heart. In a much better episode, they will depict that in a flashback sequence and keep it pretty much intact. The story that he gave verbally to Wesley Crusher in this episode is how they play it out. Well, that's a little bit of an interesting nod there. They just had a few flaws. They contradicted themselves a few times in places, but that was pretty much 212